Chapter 10, Part 4 of How I Found Livingstone. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Beth Ann. How I Found Livingstone: Travels, Adventures, and Discoveries in Central Africa, including 4 months' residence with Dr. Livingstone. By Sir Henry M. Stanley. Chapter 10, Part 4 To Mrera Ukonongo. While on this subject, I may as well give here a sketch of each of the principal men whose names must often appear in the following chapters. According to rank, they consist of Bombay, Mabruki Burton, Asmani the guide, Chowpereh, Ulimengo, Kamizi, Ambari, Juma, Fajari the cook, Maganga the Manyamwezi, Salim the Arab boy, and youthful Kalulu, a gun-bearer. Bombay has received an excellent character from Burton and Speke. Incarnation of honesty, Burton grandly terms him. The truth is, Bombay was neither very honest nor very dishonest, i.e., he did not venture to steal much. He sometimes contrived cunningly, as he distributed the meat, to hide a very large share for his own use. This peccadillo of his did not disturb me much. He deserved as captain a larger share than the others. He required to be closely watched, and when aware that this was the case, he seldom ventured to appropriate more cloth than I would have freely given him, had he asked for it. As a personal servant or valet, he would have been unexceptional, but as a captain or jemadar over his fellows, he was out of his proper sphere. It was too much brain work, and was too productive of anxiety to keep him in order. At times he was helplessly imbecile in his movements, forgot every order the moment it was given him, consistently broke or lost some valuable article, was fond of argument, and addicted to bluster. He thinks Haji Abdullah one of the wickedest white men born, because he saw him pick up men's skulls and put them in sacks, as if he was about to prepare a horrible medicine with them. He wanted to know whether his former master had written down all he himself did, and when told that Burton had not said anything, in his books upon the lake regions, upon collecting skulls at Kilwa, thought I would be doing a good work if I published this important fact. Bombay intends to make a pilgrimage to visit Speke's grave some day. I find upon returning to England that Captain Burton has informed the world of this wicked and abominable deed in his book upon Zanzibar, and that interesting collection may be seen at the Royal College of Surgeons, London. Mabruki, Ras Burka Mabruki, bull-headed Mabruki, as Burton calls him, is a sadly abused man in my opinion. Mabruki, though stupid, is faithful. He is entirely out of his element as a valet. He might as well be clerk. As a watchman he is invaluable. As a second captain or fundi, whose duty it is to bring up stragglers, he is super excellent. He is ugly and vain, but he is no coward. Asmani the guide is a large fellow, standing over 6 feet, with the neck and shoulders of Hercules. Besides being guide, he is a fundi, sometimes called Fundi Asmani, or hunter. A very superstitious man, who takes great care of his gun, and talisman plated cord, which he has dipped in the blood of all the animals he has ever shot. He is afraid of lions, and will never venture out where lions are known to be. All other animals he regards as game, and he is indefatigable in their pursuit. He is seldom seen without an apologetic or treacherous smile on his face. He could draw a knife across a man's throat and still smile. Chowpereh is a sturdy short man of 30 or thereabouts, very good natured and humorous. When Chowpereh speaks in his dry Mark Twain style, the whole camp laughs. I never quarrel with Chowpereh, never did quarrel with him. A kind word given to Chowpereh is sure to be reciprocated with a good deed. He is the strongest, the healthiest, the amiablest, the faithfulest of all. He is the embodiment of a good follower. Khamisi is a neat, cleanly boy of 20 or thereabouts, active, loud voiced, a boaster, and the cowardliest of the cowardly. He will steal at every opportunity. He clings to his gun most affectionately, is always excessively anxious if a screw gets loose, or if a flint will not strike fire. Yet I doubt that he would be able to fire his gun at an enemy from excessive trembling. Khamisi would rather trust his safety to his feet, which are small and well shaped. Ambari is a man of about 40. He is one of the faithfuls of Speke, and one of my faithfuls. He would not run away from me except when in the presence of an enemy, and imminent personal danger. He is clever in his way, but is not sufficiently clever to enact the part of captain. Could take charge of a small party, and give a very good account of them. Is lazy, and an admirer of good living. Abhors marching, unless he has nothing to carry but his gun. Juma is the best abused man of the party, because he has old womanish ways with him. Yet in his old womanish ways he is disposed to do the best he can for me, though he will not carry a pound in weight without groaning terribly at his hard fate. To me he is sentimental and pathetic. To the unimportant members of the caravan he is stern and uncompromising. But the truth is that I could well dispense with Juma's presence. He was one of the incorrigible inulites, eating far more than he was worth, besides being an excessively grumbling and querulous fool. Ulimengo, a strong, stalwart fellow of 30, was the maddest and most harebrained of my party. Though an arrant coward, he was a consummate boaster. But though a devotee of pleasure and fun, he was not averse from work. With 100 men such as he, I could travel through Africa, provided there was no fighting to do. It will be remembered that he was the martial Coryphaeus who led my little army to war against Mirambo, chanting the battle song of the Wangwana, and that I stated that when the retreat was determined upon, he was the first of my party to reach the stronghold of Mfuto. He is a swift runner, and a fair hunter. I have been indebted to him on several occasions for a welcome addition to my larder. Faraji, a former dishwasher to Speke, was my cook. He was promoted to this office upon the defection of Bundar Salam, and the extreme non-fitness of Abdul Kader. For cleaning dishes, the first corn cob, green twig, a bunch of green leaves, or grass, answered Faraji's purpose in the absence of a cloth. If I ordered a plate, and I pointed out a black, greasy, sooty thumb mark to him, a rub of a finger Faraji thought sufficient to remove all objections. If I hinted that a spoon was rather dirty, Faraji fancied that with a little saliva, and a rub of his loin cloth, the most fastidious ought to be satisfied. Every pound of meat, and every 3 spoonfuls of mush or porridge I ate in Africa contained at least 10 grains of sand. Faraji was considerably exercised at a threat I made to him, that on arrival at Zanzibar I would get the great English doctor there to open my stomach, and count every grain of sand found in it, for each grain of which Faraji should be charged $1. The consciousness that my stomach must contain a large number, for which the forfeits would be heavy, made him feel very sad at times. Otherwise Faraji was a good cook, most